Hi, and as the High Elf Hunter Thete finishes up a series of quests in the Lowlands, it's time to look at Radagast the Brown, a Maia spirit who journeyed to Middle-earth in the form of one of the 5 wizards in order to help the Free Peoples against the tyranny of Sauron. Radagast means tender of beast to some, a name he acquired on account of his deep love for and commitment to nature. On Valinor, the Undying Lands, however, he was the Maia Iwendel, which means bird friend. He was a servant of the Valar Yavanna, who created many of the plants and fruits of Arda. As such, it should come as no surprise that Radagast's first love should be for the things that grow, and that he should be alarmed at anything that would threaten the forests of Middle-earth. As we discussed last week, the Valar decided to send the wizards to aid men and elves about 1,000 years into the Third Age, when it became apparent that Sauron was recovering his power. Yavanna convinced Carumo, whom we know as Saruman, to take Radagast with him. As a result, Saruman felt an obligation to Radagast the Brown, but also believed him to be quite simple, a dullard even. It became to Saruman a sort of Gilbert Grape type relationship, at least at first. The wizards arrived at the Grey Havens, with Radagast arriving with Gandalf. The wizards then set to work visiting the peoples of Middle-earth and offering their counsel. But with Radagast showing no real concern for the affairs of the Free Peoples of Middle-earth, and instead throwing himself into the protection of plants and beasts, he turned away from the purpose that the wizards had been sent for, little knowing how much Saruman despised his folly. Unlike the other wizards, Radagast is not known for his travelling, and tended to stay in one place for long periods of time. Sometime after arriving in Middle-earth, Radagast settled into an area of southwestern Mirkwood called Rosgobel. From here he would have been able to observe the growing shadow of Dol Guldur as the necromancer's power grew. Close to the beings of the forest, and especially the eagles, even Bjorn, renowned for being extremely grumpy around strangers, considered Radagast with a certain fondness. When Saruman began to search the Gladden fields for the Master Ring, Radagast helped by sending birds and other beasts to keep a careful watch on the area. Radagast did not realise that Saruman wanted the ring for himself, however. By the time of the War of the Ring, at the end of the Third Age, Radagast had moved from Rosgobel and was much closer to the Shire. Saruman used him to try and entrap Gandalf by telling Radagast that Saruman could aid the Grey Wizard. Should Gandalf wish to take advantage of Saruman's aid, he need only come to his Tower of Orthanc. Radagast, being essentially a good sort, did not raise any suspicions in Gandalf when he met him on the Greenway between the Shire and Bree. Indeed, Radagast had no idea he was doing anything other than helping both wizards in the fight against Sauron. He was able to inform Gandalf of the Nazgul abroad in the area, thus increasing the urgency in Gandalf's mind. It was perhaps Radagast's enduring honesty that failed to allow him to see the duplicity in others, and so made an ideal trap for Saruman to use in capturing Gandalf. However, Radagast also promised some help in a form that Saruman did not foresee. He agreed to send important messages to Orthanc via the birds and beasts friendly to him. It was as a result of this that the eagle Gwaihir saw Gandalf trapped and was able to effect his rescue. But more of that when we visit Gandalf's story in the future. After this, Radagast played no obvious further part in the War of the Ring. He could not be found by Elrond's scouts when the Council of War against Sauron was formed. In the grand scheme of things, although Radagast was a good wizard, as Gandalf himself said, and helped where he felt he could against the power of Sauron, he did not really fulfill the purpose for which he was sent to Middle-earth. When Sauron is eventually defeated and Gandalf is permitted to return to Valinor, we do not know if Radagast would be permitted to make the same journey. Saruman certainly was not, as punishment for his failure. Maybe Radagast would not mind exile from Valinor though, content perhaps to settle back into Mirkwood, or wherever he felt he could do some good for the forests and beasts of Middle-earth. And that's the story of Radagast the Brown, one of the Istari sent to help combat Sauron in Middle-earth. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. Comment down below and share with others who may also be interested. And until next time, I'll see you later.